So we are at the final, so it's going to stay at 29 degrees, and then January 26th, it's going to move into Aries. Last time Saturn was in Aries was the Civil War. Just like, it's all so crazy. Like, exactly. And actually, I pulled up the chart of the Civil War. So let's say we start with the Emancipation Proclamation, January 1st, 1863. Neptune's at 1 degree Aries. It'll be at 1 degrees Aries next year. So that's really interesting also because we're coming up on the Pluto return of the American Revolution. So there's a lot of like cycles around America that are coming up. But this thing because why not just open a shit show conversation, right?
Like, are we fear-mongering?
No fear-mongering. So that's not the fear-mongering, that's not what I was referring to. But so I've had this book forever, but I picked it up because I am undergoing simultaneously. I have been in intense Neptune transit since 2020. Neptune was opposite my Jupiter, then opposite my Sun, and now it's opposite my Saturn directly, and Saturn is opposite my Sun. So I am literally right under this Saturn Neptune opposition. And in me fashion, right, I'm like more interested in like the academic and the collective and history than necessarily my personal.
Well, like you're Virgo, so you're gonna
Yes.
go to academic, and then it will like eventually.
Yes. Also, I've been in the personal of it for so long that I was like, so there's so she writes all about the Saturn Neptune conjunctions and how they coincide with the rise in Marxist thought. And Saturn and Neptune were conjunct apparently during the writing of the Communist Manifesto. The violence of anarchy and revolution did not become part of its official creed until Saturn joined Neptune in Aquarius in 1846 and presided over the creation of the Communist Manifesto. But then she also, so the message of Marxist socialism and revolution is revolutionary and violent. Perhaps, like Hitler, Marx was the mouthpiece for its own generation's dreams of apocalyptic redemption, reflected by the natal combination of Neptune conjunct Uranus and square Pluto. But then she says here, the configuration of Saturn, this was written in 96, the configurations of Saturn and Neptune are celestial markers for those junctures in history when efforts are made, sometimes violent, sometimes peaceful, to make Eden incarnate. And I think that's so true, like with Pisces, right? It's like everyone has seen the glamorization, glamour is also Neptune, since 2012 when Neptune moved into Pisces, and we have this explosion of idealized lives that we're looking at every day. It used to turn on a sitcom or show or like Lives of the Rich and Famous. Do you remember that? Like, but now it's like in our faces, and who knows what's real and who knows what's not real, but this addiction to glamour. And that is coinciding with people saying like, oh, well, you can just have whatever you want whenever you want it if you just clear, right? And so that then foments rage when it doesn't happen, and a desire to correct and create and make Eden incarnate, which is Marxism. So I just find that so fascinating.
So do you
The
think
politics of Saturn, Neptune are often extreme, what we're experiencing now, particularly with the conjunction and hard aspects. This is a conjunction. From whichever side they begin, left or right, they become curiously similar as they proceed to enact their archetypal roles. National Socialism or Socialist Nationalism, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. The redeemer of the downtrodden collective rises up to overthrow the persecutor, and then becomes the new persecutor of a new downtrodden collective, which must then seek freedom through another redeemer. It's just so wild to me, how accurate astrology is. It's like it never ceases to amaze me.
but this is going to shift?
So it's going to shift because Saturn and Neptune are going to form an exact conjunction at Aries on February 20th, right after the February 17th solar eclipse in Aquarius. Aquarius is the collective, right? And then right after Saturn moves into Aries on February 13th. But then they're going to separate because Saturn moves much faster than Neptune. So I feel like there could be some kind of peak early 2026 as it moves to Pisces, from Pisces to Aries, where quote unquote reality hits, this Neptunian fog lifts. But yeah, I think that we're going to see a kind of shift around it and what we idealize.
I mean, you said this months ago, but like almost every show on television right now is just like wealth porn. I mean,
It's going to reach a
but it's
peak
not
kind of.
just like comical. Like it's best demonstrated comically in like the Ryan Murphy All's Fair show.
You're still watching that?
I don't know why.
I feel like you deserve like balloons or something for sticking with that and watching it because it's a hate watch.
I could make millions of dollars on the amount of television that I watch. It is my study of
But
choice.
it's also your career. But also to me, television is the most direct window into the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, because every network is looking for something that hits the zeitgeist. So you're right. It's just a mirror.
It's just a mirror. But yes, the wealth porn, but also, you know, this, the, it's going to foment rage. I mean, if you just think of like the Kardashians and that lifestyle, I'm not even judging them. I'm just looking at totally neutrally. People have an idea that to have that much means that it's another form of escapism. I'm not talking about having enough to survive and then some. I'm talking about that level. It's like an addictive escapism. It's like a kind of drug.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Neptune.
yeah, you're right. It makes people feel, yeah, rage, or what would I call it more? Just like it's envy.
Well, so interesting because that you say that, which is true. And I was listening to Matthew McConaughey's thing. He has some kind of series or whatever. And he was saying that he was asking these kids, how they were responding in social media. And they were like, they're stressed, they're stressed. And he's like, you're not stressed, you're envious.
Mm.
And that allowed them to work with it, he said,
Mhm.
because stress is amorphous. It has no ground. It has nothing to actually, Henry, relax. But envy is like, oh, I can work with that. And I
Totally.
just think we have, in this Neptunian fog, an idealized and glamour, like, oh, envy is just an indication of what you want. Sure, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it. Sorry to
And
be the
also
bearer of bring bad
the
news.
slippery slope, like just having been on the other side of it, like having, you know, at one point in my life had access to this world of the rich and famous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that I was in that position myself. I was recognized a few times for being on TV. But I was invited to like really big parties and these big
Yes.
things, intimate with like celebrities.
Yeah.
Few
Like
very
Diane Keaton.
like my dear friend Diane. But what I learned, which was I think a very important thing for me to witness in my evolution as an artist and a human, whatever. Not that that was ever my goal. In fact, I've always been like thinking that fame is kind of a nightmare because don't you just want to go to the grocery store? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it seems like
That's
it's
never appealed to me, the idea. I've never understood people who want that. Like, I understand wanting access and I understand wanting success, but wanting to lose your anonymity, I've never understood that desire.
it's very uncomfortable. And I've been,
Yeah.
enmeshed with the point and like you can sub fame for
Mhm.
wealth in this description of what
Yeah.
I'm with that. I know many people who have the thing that engenders envy in others.
Yes. Yes.
It has made them none the more happy, you know,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
it has created a level of disconnect and depression. And I think this is obvious, but it needs to be said, is like, because it's that you get the thing that you think that you want, and the thing you think that you want doesn't deliver. We've talked about this also on the show, of just like external versus internal and like all that stuff. And like, if you're relying on the thing that creates envy to feed you in some way, well, you're going to come up short.
Did you watch Jay Kelly?
No, I want to. I just saw that it was on. I have to finish. Oh my God. Are you watching The Beast in Me?
Yeah, I finished it in like 3 days.
I'm like waiting for Tyler, which is so annoying.
I had to do that. I had
I
to do that.
I never show respect by waiting for with him for television shows, because he's just like, he's not a professional like myself. But with this one, I'm waiting, and I'm on episode. I'm about to start the last episode, but I have to wait for him. Oh my God.
Well, okay. I mean,
I think that's a
30
whole
is so
other
amazing.
rabbit hole. But
And
Jake,
Matthew Rhys is really like such a phenomenal actor.
he's
But I think
so good.
he's so good. But I think they're really like there's something Jay Kelly to me as a film felt light, not gonna lie. Like it didn't where it's
Wait, was it
sentimental value.
who else?
What?
Who's the other actor?
Adam Sandler.
Oh my God.
He's great. It's just as a film, you're kind of like, why do I give a shit about this guy? Right. Well, I'll let people have their own conclusions. But that was my experience. Like I was like, why do I care? But sentimental value, which in a way has similar themes, is a far more substantive exploration.
Mm.
Far more. And also Riley Keough is amazing. Everything I feel like that's Nepo baby. Like I'm for. Like I think she's so good.
Yeah, 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 yeah. She's so good.
She's so good. Um, but I think that that movie is all about. I saw it, and I was like, "This is Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces. Like, what is the dream worth it? Like, what has to be sacrificed for the dream? Either getting it or not getting it. Both are explored. You know, in the film by different characters. It's like, what are what are we really after, and what really matters, and does what we do matter? Does it, all of that. It's a perfect illustration of it.
It's just interesting that you're saying that, because I feel like I've been interfacing with this a lot, like, recently. It's like the final shedding of the 9-year kind of like, man, like, it really is no stone left unturned this year, my guy. Like, it is just so fun.
9 years ago is when I had my near-death experience and met Daniel. Like that's why, like, for me,
Whoa.
this 9-year cycle feels, and when this work that I have really started to like get traction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Tell me about it.
like the the question that I've been
Mhm.
internal is like, it is a question of the dream,
Yep.
and
Yep.
question,
What is it? What is the
what
dream?
what is the dream, and like, how can I step out of the dream and into reality? Like, I feel like my dream started when I was a kid, and then, or like when I was in, when I went to college, and my dream career started when I moved to LA or whatever. It's like all these things happened like 20 plus years ago.
Mhm.
And then you kind of like go through the cycle of getting or not getting or exploring or
Mhm.
whatever happens in our individual past, based on like the dream that we set forth to like accomplish or embody. And then it kind of just like runs its course, and
Yes.
you're like,
Yes.
okay, now what? And like, that's the thing, is like, I feel like I'm like cotton candying my internal stuff to
Yeah.
like separate the dream, what part of the dream like should come with me from an authentic place,
Mhm.
and then distill it into like, what's the thing that feels the most like nourishing and true now. And like, so to consciously separate from acting from a place of like being attached to something that
Mhm.
or was incepted into me as like a younger person, that might not be serving wherever I'm going next. And the desire to know where you're going next is such a trap as well. So it's like it is coming into this like space of presence of just like experimenting with like letting it all go all together
Mm-hmm.
and then seeing what kind of comes out when things start to clarify a bit more without me putting my own projection onto that. I know that was a lot, but it's like it
No,
is a
it's not a lot. I think that, I sound like a broken record, but I do think clarity will come in the new year, not directly on the new year, more mid-February will be even clearer. So a couple more months of this real kind of fog and confusion. And like it lines up, like I said, with the Chinese New Year and the solar eclipse in Aquarius. And yes, the start of 2026 is a one numerology. Like, but I do think this end of year, it just is this like real exploration of everything that you brought forth and also like what's underneath it. Like, you know, we listen to a lot of Armchair Expert on the
Mhm.
drive.
I'm manifesting Dax and year friendship for 2026.
He loves Nashville as much as I do.
I know you guys are like, you guys can just be in Nashville and geek out on Tennessee together.
100%. But his sidekick was talking about she had uh
So- she shall not be named.
Monica. Anyway, I found out she's a Virgo and he's a Capricorn, and I'm like a Virgo I'm like, of course, right? But anyway, so she was talking, Jennifer Aniston on, and she was saying how she VHS recorded every single Friends episode and color coordinated them. I did
Wait,
that.
did or she did?
No, Monica did.
Monica,
And
stop.
and I did that, Virgo. I did that, but
Stop.
I also did it. My real thing was Mad About You. Do you know about this? My
Oh,
obsession with Mad
I
About
love
You.
you.
Right? So I was obsessed with Mad About You. Everyone had like Luke Perry on their wall, and I had Paul Reiser.
That's
And
hilarious.
true story, true story.
Oh my God.
And I actually met, well, I kind of stalked her when I was like a teenager, Helen Hunt, and she was a total bitch at Sarah Beth's on the Upper West Side. And then I would see
Wonder if
her
that
all around.
plays over the fact that you stalked Helen Hunt.
Well, like I was at Sarah Beth's and she was there and I followed her into the bathroom. I was a teenager. I was a teenager. She was a total bitch, but I was like obsessed with the show. Anyway, and then when I moved to LA, I saw her all over Santa Monica and she always had a scowl on her face. But I was at a party at my friend Heather's house and Paul Reiser showed up. This is maybe 7 or 8 years ago. No,
This
would have been 5 years ago was COVID. I think of COVID as last year, but so it must have been like 8 years ago, 8, 9 years ago. And he was awesome. And we had the best talk. And even his wife was like, she was super interested in what I did. And we were having all this conversation. It was so much fun. I was reciting lines from Mad About You to him. It was like a thing. And in that moment, I said to him, you don't understand. My inner 13-year-old right now is ecstatic. And he turned to Daniel and he's like, marry this woman. It was very funny. It's like a
Oh.
whole thing. And then I saw him at a couple other events and he remembered me and it was like, and it's funny because when I think about I was obsessed with Mad About You. And this is so disjointed, but I was also obsessed with Demi Moore.
Mm.
And my dad knew the producer of Striptease, so I ended up going to the premiere and meeting her as a teenager. But I was so invested in, she ended up doing the master's program that I did after her and her
Ah.
daughters. But I was like, this is so interesting. It's like, I was obsessed with Hollywood when I was younger, like pre college, and then it kind of switched to politics. But in that moment and like in my own experiences of getting to like be at some of these things with actors and being friends and having clients of actors, I was like, I realized that it was never about me actually being in the industry. It's that I felt like an outsider. And I felt like the people that I was seeing in magazines and on TV, I would feel understood in a
Right.
way that I didn't feel understood
Well,
as a teenager. And then
some
my work is to understand people, right?
right.
That's like ultimately who I am. But I confused it.
Well, I relate to that. I mean, I think that there's truth to it though, where it's like best case scenario, like I'm talking about the part of it where it's like, the unhappy part of it, but
Right.
there's also the part that you're talking about, which is that, when we're at the Comedy Store, we always would call like the island of broken toys, right? Where it's like you
Yes.
all your same people, and that kind of is how like Hollywood
Yeah.
is, because it's like, or I imagine like being in a painter's community is, or be
Yes.
any art
Yes.
community, whether it's Hollywood, which happens to be like the media side of things. It just makes you feel understood and seen because we are all the outcasts. We are all the people who were like the weird
Yes.
in our circle, the ones that like, for me, I would describe it as like always being invited on the inside, but never feeling like I was on the inside.
Yes. Yes. And then you have an entire community of people like that.
That, and that does feel like really good.
Yes, and I think that it's like once I kind of metabolize that and I started doing this and cuz I kind of moved to LA to maybe pursue screenwriting. I wrote that
Mhm.
pilot kind of, but really it was like honestly it was my inner teenager driving the like, oh, I've done the East Village thing and everyone that I was friends with was older and like creative and an actor or a musician. Let me just go to the land.
Where those people are.
Yes, and maybe I will feel understood. I mean, that was ultimately the drive.
And did you?
No, I felt more misunderstood. Except for Paul Reiser, who seemed to understand me. And then and then, yeah, but I think it's I would say like, oh, Nashville, but I think it's a function of age. I think I understood myself. I found myself.
Yeah, like when you're younger, you're looking for the world to give you that,
Yeah.
and then where you just like, I can be like, I feel like I can now at this point be in like any environment and either be like, I can make this work, or I know myself well enough to just like back out of it. Like instead of
Yes.
like how if I was younger, I'd be like, oh, like I want this to feel different. It's like, honey, it just doesn't feel different because this is not your people. It's fine.
Yes, and I think so once I was like, "Oh, I understand me." But I will say that, like, interestingly, when I would hang out, I felt more understood among the Hollywood types than I did among the wellness world. I felt most alienated in that world.
All the
Um,
like like I always felt at home like in dark corners of the Comedy Store
yes,
with like, comedians always just feel so easy to hang out with because it's just like people that just want to like go in and are just like
yes,
crazy the
yes,
best. And sometimes it can be annoying if they're always on, but like the good juice of the comedy hang is like it's people like us who just want to like dissect issues and talk about things.
yes,
But every single like besides the events that I threw myself, every single like wellness influencer event that I ever went to, I literally felt like an alien. And I
yeah.
remember when I met Carson, we were at like a fancy like makeup brunch.
This just doesn't seem your style at
Dude, they literally gave away like $500
all.
handbags to every person that was there. Like it's bonkers. It was so fancy, and I like roll up,
Isn't
and I
like the Oscar swag like worth 250 grand? Isn't that
yeah,
like a thing if you're like it's like
I
you
went
could buy a house.
I went to an Oscar party at Madonna's Oscar party twice, and I got Gucci swag. I got I got Gucci sunglasses, and I got a Gucci incense tray.
Speaking of wealth porn,
I know. I was like, I can't used to this. No, but I remember when I met
let me just
Carson,
look.
we were at this lunch, and she recalls meeting me and being like, "Who the fuck is this girl? She does not make sense." Like, I didn't show up knowing I was gonna be at a fancy makeup brunch receiving a $500 handbag. I would have maybe worn jeans and Converse, you know what I mean? Like, I just was like, "I don't fucking know." Anyways, but then we became neighbors and we became friends, and she, like, understood the whole thing, but it was just, like, in that context that nothing made sense, and I felt like that every single time. So when she validated, I was like, "Thank you for saying that," because I felt like that's how I looked.
I just that whole that thing, like, that the wellness, like, all of that, like, even, like, the makeup thing, like, that, obviously, never my thing.
But I like that stuff. It's not even like I'm
No,
not
it's
into.
not about not liking it. It's like, it's just the scene around it. It's like tablescapes. Like, it's not, I can do a decent one. It's not like no one's writing home about it. But
Yeah,
like, it's just not where I feel the most relaxed. But if I'm surrounded by artists and thinkers and creatives,
yeah,
it's usually I feel more at home in that
yeah.
than um kale.
It's funny. It's kale really had a rise to prominence that was unjustified. It's the worst green. It really is. I can't. I don't want
It's
that.
indigestible.
It's digestible. You have to literally beat it to death, AKA bruise it, to make it go into your body, and then it still can't be chewed. It's like, "Fuck you, kale."
It's fucking
Like,
amazing.
I never abandon romaine. Romaine is my king.
Kale sucks.
Kale sucks. Fuck you, kale.
But what's there's different kinds of kale, like the one that's especially rough, that's like
The
got
dinosaur.
yeah,
The baby kale is, like, tolerable, but it's still a
yeah.
very green.
No, all of that. Like, I just did a podcast and they were asking me what the food I've eaten the most is, and my first instinct was bread, and I said, minus the 15 years in LA where like bread was contraband, and
Lit frowned upon. The understatement.
and I couldn't eat it. But I
I
re
eat bread
but
now
like I
that I've committed a crime. Like, someone's like, "What have you been up to?" I'm like, "Oh, eating a lot of sourdough, like." And then, "Okay." I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm, like, doing something wrong.
someone once said to me, LA is fucked because bananas are not considered a health food.
No, it's for sugar. Ugh.
But anyway, listening to all of these, armchair experts, it's like, oh yeah, this is what I was drawn to in Hollywood. This is what I was like Billy Crudup, who's like a real thespian. I guess he's a New Yorker. He's not but that like
You
that real like
know Earth and Billy Crudup?
Billy Crudup. Did I say it
Like,
wrong?
to me, he's, like, the hottest.
Really?
I, like, love him.
I saw him on Broadway a bunch because he's like a real thespian,
Yeah,
the real deal, right?
yeah,
But like I'm like, "Oh, yeah, people who are really exploring the human condition," and, like, what that's what I was drawn to,
yeah.
and then, it just everything around it.
But you're
But
right,
actually
has overtaken the core of why
yes,
most people are drawn to it. Like, I think there's people like influencers who just, like, wanna be famous and don't have the core of, like, the storyteller or the artist or, like, the, um, person who's, like, seeking, even
yes, yes,
healing. I think my attraction to acting had a lot to do with healing. So it's like,
yes,
there's seeking in there, right? But then there's, like, the fame contingency of people,
yes.
and that's where it gets murky.
Confusing. Yes. But, like, what really drives storytelling, I mean, I think that's why I love that podcast so much because he really he gets people not in like an Oprah 2000 weepy way, but he gets people to speak openly and candidly.
Yeah.
And it's like that feels like it's sorely missing. And Reese Witherspoon was on and she said something to the effect of, I don't place any morality on who someone votes for. And he said, I'm the same. And I'm like, oh, that's why you guys love Nashville. Um, but
It goes back to Nash.
it's amazing. But
Fine,
it like, it
sponsored by
reminded me. It's because I think that my experiences in my later years in LA around the fires, not even the big fire, but the fires and COVID and the political, like it, I have to remember that it's important for me to go back and remember why I was drawn in the first place. And that creative inspiration and like that feeling of aliveness when you are co-creating with people or being around creatives. And, I don't
I
know, it's just,
definitely miss that. I feel like because of COVID, just to your point, like it removed just some of the joie de vivre of in person.
yes.
And I think people want to come back around to it. Obviously, like we're all craving it. We're all human. We want that connection. But on a personal note, just like what you're saying, it's like I've like retreated. Like I
Yeah.
live so far out of the city. I live on like a horse ranch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
but it's like I never would have thought that that's where I would end up. And I
Same.
love day to day. Like I love waking up in nature. I love all that stuff. But the thing I liked about being in Austin, for example, was the proximity to so many people who are doing so much stuff.
Yeah, and I felt that in Austin when you were like, when I said Austin is beautiful, you're like, what? It's that. It's like there is an energy. I also love the trees there, but there is like, I felt that in Austin, and it's
Yeah.
different than here. Austin feels younger to me than Nashville. Being
Yeah.
in my mid 40s, Nashville feels more appropriate. But I felt that when we were in Austin, I was like, this is what LA felt like to me when
Exactly.
I showed up in 2005. Like this kind of electricity, this kind of, it's very young, it feels vibrant, it feels creative. And I just listening to all of these episodes, because I hadn't listened in a while, it was like, oh, yeah, this is what I love. And like seeing this film last night, Sentimental Value, where like I love schlock, but it really makes you see how so much shit is schlock.
But
It's okay.
you're kind of putting words in a way to like you're putting concrete like experiential
Mm-hmm.
words onto what I was saying about redefining the dream, where it's
Yeah.
like becoming aware of
Rebecca?
the mechanism that drew you to a dream that's
Yes.
core of who you are.
Yes. And that's still there. Like
Yeah,
that's like
but
even
what it look like is a different conversation that we're all kind of trying to be like, I can't go after the same things in the same way anymore because the goal has moved. But I have I have evolved, but have I like changed? No.
yes. And that actually gets back to like a lot of what I've been thinking about in terms of astrology and like our core makeup and this Neptunian energy where we think we can just change everything. And like there is a kind of concrete fundamental nature that we possess.
Yeah.
And I think our interests can change, but I think there is something fundamental and core to who we are.
Yeah.
And there's something anchoring about that.
Exactly. And like coming back to that thing that lives in you that's outside of what you're supposed to like do with it in the world
Mhm.
is so critical to like, all the astrologers on Instagram writing about like coming into like our souls aligned path. And it's like, yeah,
But what the fuck does that mean? What
I
does that mean?
this is what it means. This is what
Right.
I'm saying.
Exactly.
Is it
Exactly.
means you that's you when nobody's watching, the
Yes.
that's you that doesn't rely on defining you by what you do or whatever.
Yes.
That
Yes.
soul that then causes the action to take place because I wrestle with this of like if I had a gajillion dollars in the
Mhm.
world, what would
Mhm. Mhm.
would I just watch TV all day? Like maybe,
Mhm. I mean,
perhaps.
you do have a toddler and a baby on the way.
Yeah. But there would still be a drive inside of me to create
Yes.
things.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
really what I think we're talking about when we're talking about tapping into that like level of truth and then like purpose, like all these words that are just like market.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the word authentic. Like I just genuine
Yeah.
lands more true for me now. But it's like,
Uh,
yes, exactly. And if I had all the money, I would do what I do.
yeah.
But I think there's something about like listening to this podcast and like, you know, reading this book again that is almost like reinvigorating my
Mhm.
my why do why I've been doing what I'm doing, because I have gone through a lot of questioning of like, should I be doing something else? Like, is this what I should be doing? Am I helping people? Am I doing anything? Is it of value? Like, all I've been asking myself some real questions, and it's like it comes back to when I was a kid, people would open up to me by the lockers
Yeah.
because that's the role I played. And I was always a reader and a thinker. And, that hasn't changed.
So funny. We're so similar in so many ways, even though we're so different. Like, Tyler's always like, I leave you in the room with a stranger for like 10 minutes and I come back and they're like out their most tragic story to you. And I'm like, I don't know why this happens everywhere I go. Like,
Yeah.
they need me, they just feel like they can
Yes.
share with me. I think it's like when you're empathetic and a good listener, it just is like inviting.
Okay. So this is interesting. So I've been thinking about like empathy, right? It's like, I've been having clients who are in impossible situations. I'm talking about genuinely impossible situations that like can't be just manifested out of, like real challenging situations.
Yeah.
And I had a client write me an email, you know, just saying that she'd been holding this for a long time, but she was finally able to like cry on our and really like she felt heard and seen. And it's and I was thinking like I don't call myself an empath because I don't know what that, but
That
the fact that
I did a joke about this the other day about how like the word empath has been like captured by narcissistic people who don't want to deal with it.
but like this is someone who we live in an age where everybody calls themselves an empath, and this person in a couple years hasn't felt safe enough to really be seen
Yeah.
and really like we are not living in an age of empathy if this is the experience that I'm seeing so many people have. And it's not a fault of their own. It's because people aren't really empaths.
Well,
What they are,
I'm not saying, but this is what's flawed about the empath dialogue is that he'll be like, I'm an empath, so like I had to turn the TV off. Or I'm an empath, so I had to like put up a boundary and I couldn't like listen to what they were saying because like I'm such an empath. You
no, but
know?
that's the opposite. That's what I'm saying. That's the opposite of actually, but I wouldn't ever
I
call myself an
know.
empath. It's just like people need a space where they can say, sometimes when I'm with clients, and like I said, I've been having a lot of clients who are in a really sticky, really challenging situations. And it's like one of the things I'll say is like, this is a safe space for you to say whatever you need to say. Sometimes we just need to say it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need to voice it. It doesn't mean we're going to do anything. It doesn't mean, but like, it's like, I think that, yeah, this idea that we're like, everyone's an empath. And yet, if that's true, why are people lonelier, more anxious, more detached?
I think everyone's an avoidant would be a better way to put it.
Yes. It's like, I don't know, it really struck me that like, we don't, we're in the opposite of an empathic age. Like, we really don't seem to have compassion for people who think differently, because the idea is like you can just get out of it. You can just walk away. You can just whatever. And some situations like caregiving for an elderly parent who's in a really like there's just situations that are not just like I don't it just I feel we are not actually empathic as a culture, as many people are calling themselves empaths.
Well, it's because it's making me kind of come to another understanding of it too, where it's like the word the word
You're
empathy
welcome here.
is when you feel something, you feel what another person is feeling very deeply. Like you like when someone says something to you, like, I'm caring for my elderly parent, it's like
Yes.
that hits you hard because you understand what that really is.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
using the
Sorry,
word
talking
empathy
about.
to, like, describe their own sensitivity, which is, like, that, like, I'm an empath. I'm so sensitive, so, like, when I see hard things or when I interact with certain energies, like, I get overwhelmed, like, these are true things. I'm sensitive, I get
Mm,
overwhelmed,
yes,
you
but we've
know
labeled them empath, right?
right, and call themselves empaths, and it almost, like it weirdly, like, makes them feel like they're on, like, a certain pedestal in some way.
Yes. Well, it's like
That's
that's the
not
thing, right? The ego wants to survive in any way it can. So it's going to cling into what makes it feel special. I'm empathic. I feel more than everybody else. This makes me special and unique,
yeah.
right? We all have our version of that, whatever it is. We all have to navigate that in whatever way. But just, I was also thinking about
I think
how,
you're sorry, not before the thing of, like, if you really wanna challenge your own empathic nature, instead of always building walls around your empath self, instead let it all the way in.
yeah. But I think some people
Then
are
you will truly
scared.
feel empathy, not just sensitivity. Yeah,
Yeah. But I think,
it
I,
is scary.
have you read the Amanda Fortini piece in the New York Times? I canceled my subscription years ago, but it's as Gen X, the greatest generation.
No, I haven't read it, but I love that as a concept.
But like all the artists, right? Like they're Gen X, like, that it was like the reality bites, everything that we've talked about. I was also thinking about how I was raised by the silent generation. Well,
Mhm.
my mom is 46. My dad, who really was more of the influence, is 43. He's a war baby. He's a silent generation. And then I'm technically X.
Mhm.
And I feel like
You're just trying to be Gen X, Danny.
I'm 80.
So that's not elder millennial.
No, millennial starts in 81.
Oh, well, lucky you. You got it by the skin of your
And,
teeth.
but also, or like people say I'm an Xennial, which is like 78 to 82. Like, meaning we didn't have cell phones in high school.
Yeah.
Right. And then also my sisters are 10 and 7 years older than me. So I was highly influenced by their, but I was just thinking about, forget that, like, regardless, that I was raised by silent generation, not by boomers.
Right, because boomers are like late 40s, 50s.
Mm, no, I think boomers are like in their six. Oh, yes, yes. In terms of years born.
Years
Yes.
born.
Yes.
Whoa. Yeah,
Which
you were
is
yeah, that's a whole different thing.
because my parents are in their 80s. Because my sisters are like they had my sisters when they were young, but they had me in their late 30s, mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
My brother, my baby brother, most people don't know I have a brother, but he's 8 years younger than me.
Whoa. Wow, your parents really kept going.
Well, my mom got her tubes tied after me and then untied at 42 and had him on the first try.
I love that.
So my sisters were
Just
born,
tell
they moved to Hong Kong. My mom didn't want to have me in Hong Kong. She came back, she got pregnant. She was they thought I was going to be very, very sick. My mom, this is like a whole other thing. Um, the doctors told her to abort me. My mom wouldn't because my mom was at that point pro-life. It's the only reason I exist.
Yeah.
And then she was so traumatized. She was so like, that was so distressing for her, that she had them tied. And then
Wha
my sister, who was like at 18 at the time, was like, you can get a tubulectomy or whatever. You can get a reverse tubulectomy. And my dad was like, yeah, do it. You're not going to get pregnant. You're 42. And then my brother came.
what I don't think I even knew you had a brother.
Yeah, most people don't.
Where does he live?
Well, right now he is in Thailand.
Okay.
He's been traveling. He's in a tropical phase. So he
How
was in
old?
the Bahamas and now he started his own fund. So
30?
he's in his 30s.
What?
Yeah. Do you really not know that?
I
And
feel
he's
like
Orthodox.
how he's what?
He's Orthodox.
I
Yeah.
am blasted with information right now.
Yeah. I have a brother who is in his mid-30s who's Orthodox and goes
Married?
and visits all the Chabads around the globe. No,
Oh my god. And what does he do for work?
he started his own fund. He's like
A
crazy
big fun-
successful, but he like only wears like one outfit from Walmart.
I'm fucking dead. That's picture of your brother immediately.
Yeah. He's right now, he's in, I think he's in, yeah, he's in Koi Samoy. What, how do you pronounce it? He's somewhere in Thailand.
What?
Yeah.
Spreading he's proselytizing Judaism?
Have you ever met Judaism? Jews don't proselytize. We don't
That-
want, we don't
That's
want you.
that's the
That's
joke.
how it works. That's how it works. He's definitely definitely not proselytizing. He just feels like I'm so proud of him because he's brilliant, but like very, very, very heady, like very. And he's like realizing that like tropical waters and tropical environments are really good for his nervous system.
Mhm.
He's very private, so he'll never see this, but yeah, I never talk about him because he's so private.
Oh my god. Wow. What's his name?
His name is Alex.
What's up, Alex?
He's super funny. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I never, ever, ever talk about him because he's so private. He doesn't want anybody to talk about him.
You know, you're always just getting to know the people in your life that you love more and more. Relationships are never stagnant. Things can always be revealed. And
So
sometimes
he
you
was
learn
born when I was 8.
that a friend that you've had for many years has a brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never
I
mention him. Alex, gotta get this guy. Never talks about you.
um yeah, I would love him to meet someone because I would love to be an aunt.
Yeah, totally. Well, he's young, so he's
Well, he's based in DC. He's based in DC.
okay.
But now he's just been like traveling everywhere and because he has his own fund, he can just
Fuck
he's
yeah.
like crazy yeah, he's like crazy brilliant, like next level.
Wow.
But he sent me a text and he's like, I asked my rabbi and my rabbi says astrology is like in the Torah and it's real. I said, I told you.
Duh.
Yeah.
Kabbalah is astrology.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I love that. Well, I think you have to go on that note because didn't you say you have to go at 2 o'clock?
No, I'm good. Oh, it's 2 your time. I'm like,
Yeah.
what time is it? Oh yeah, I do. What am I? Yes, I have a client.
You're like, I'm good. This is the client. Um, okay. Well, I feel like this was a great chat.
It was. It
And
was. You
I'm
learned
so
I had a brother.
I'm so glad I've gotten to know you more. And so has everyone else. um and yeah, well, I think we should try to do next week also. I feel like we should get back in the
Yeah,
saddle.
I'm back. I'm here. I have no travel. Like that was it.
Great.
Okay. I love you.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.